Hello, my name is Erika Kambs and I'm the Executive Director with Wabash County Habitat for Humanity. I am happy to present for the North Manchester Historical Society, and thank you to the Center for History for letting us use this space. So I grew up in Wabash County in North Manchester, Indiana. I attended Luther College, which is located in Northeast Iowa, Decorah, Iowa. I graduated in 2008 with a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and Spanish, and I have since served in many capacities in the nonprofit sector. I'm very excited to be working with Wabash County Habitat for Humanity for 3 years now. I certainly have a passion to work in the service capacity and have been very happy to find a home again in Wabash County. Habitat for Humanity was founded by Millard and Linda Fuller through a movement in Americus, Georgia in 1976. It was built on the idea of partnership housing. Habitat for Humanity volunteers gave a hand up to those in need by working side by side with them to build safe, decent, and affordable houses. Oftentimes, when you think of Habitat for Humanity, you of course think of President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind. While they were not the founders of Habitat for Humanity, they were major champions of the organization. As Jimmy Carter said, Habitat for Humanity isn't somebody up here helping somebody down there. It's reaching out a hand and saying, let's work together. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter, as champions of the organization, do an annual build each year that garners national attention and brings in thousands of volunteers. We were lucky enough to have them here in the state of Indiana in 2018. They held their 35th annual Carter Build in Mishawaka and South Bend, and during their week-long build, they built 41 houses. Wabash County Habitat for Humanity is, of course, a 501c3 nonprofit organization based on Christian principles with a mission to provide safe, affordable housing to those in need. We garner the support of volunteers for so much of our work. A typical year for us, we engage over 100 volunteers, not just in home construction and building, but other projects around the community, fundraising, etc. Wabash County Habitat for Humanity was affiliated with Habitat for Humanity International in 1992 and was completely volunteer run until 2013. In 2013, we hired our first staff as an executive director, and we have since had that as a paid staff role. Since 1992, Habitat for Humanity in Wabash County has built 22 homes, providing housing for 76 individuals, 30 of those being adults and 46 children. We also provide an annual tithe. So just as you might tithe at your church, in your church community, Wabash County Habitat for Humanity tithes a portion of money raised to our Habitat for Humanity partner in El Salvador. So how does Habitat work? There are a lot of misnomers about how our organization operates. Oh, are you the folks that give away houses? Well, no, we don't give away houses. We do help build affordable houses and sell them at a no-interest loan. So what we like to tell folks is Habitat for Humanity does not give away houses. It's a hand up, not a hand out. Volunteers and future Habitat homeowners are very much the force that helps us build these houses. We really rely on our partners in the community, whether they're local businesses, churches, individuals, who will help us in the form of donations. That might be donating their labor, their time, materials, or funds. Additionally, the partner family, the family that is selected for the house, they will contribute something called sweat equity, and we do require our families to contribute 250 hours of sweat equity. And then, of course, the family that is selected, the house is sold to them at a no-interest Habitat mortgage. With the selection criteria, there are 3 core components that we look for in selecting a family. First, there's the need for housing. We look for the demonstrated need. A need can look like a lot of different things. It might be that the housing is in disrepair. It might have health or safety hazards. It might be crowded. There's not enough square footage for the family members living in the house. Or another need is that if their monthly payment, whether it's rent or mortgage, exceeds 30% of their income, their monthly income, that would also be a demonstrated need. The second criteria that we look for is the ability to repay the affordable no-interest loan. We operate very much in the same way that a bank would. If you are applying for a loan through a bank, they're going to run your credit report, they're going to verify your income, they're going to verify what your taxes reflect. It's very much the same process for us, as we are an equal credit opportunity loan provider. We follow all of these laws and regulations, and we do have to verify that the family meets both the credit qualifications and the income qualifications. Within the income qualifications, we work specifically with a sector of the community whose income falls at 30 to 60% of the area median income. So if your family earns over 60% of the area median income, what that tells us is that you probably can afford or qualify is a better way to say it. You probably can qualify for a traditional loan through a bank. If the income falls below 30%, what that indicates is that that family probably does not have enough resources to be able to repay on a loan. Therefore, we can't work with a family that falls below that level. What we look at with the Habitat for Humanity process is we don't just want to get a family in a house, we want that family to stay in the house. We want it to truly be a type of asset building. And if they can't afford to live in the house, then it's obviously not going to be a long-term solution and a path to asset building for that family. The third component of the selection criteria is the willingness to partner with Habitat. What that means is, once again, the family is committing to sweat equity. Sweat equity can be helping out on build days on the construction site, but if an individual or the family members have various limitations and are unable to serve in that capacity, we find other opportunities for them to complete their sweat equity. That might be volunteering in the office with us, that might be helping us out with a fundraising event, or they could commit their sweat equity volunteering with another organization in the community that does serviceable and charitable work. Most people know that Habitat builds houses, but Habitat's true result is the changed lives of families. With Habitat for Humanity, home ownership has been studied time and time again, and it is one of the most tried and true forms of building equity and building that bridge out of poverty. As you can see from the infographic, generational poverty oftentimes is a cyclical process. If you do not have wealth to start off with, it can be very hard to obtain it outside of building assets. So if you don't start off with any home or wealth accumulation, it's going to be that much harder to gain it. Living in a lower income bracket, There are less services that are accessible to you. Oftentimes this can affect an individual and a family's health, which then can affect their ability to focus on their school or focus on their work. And these things will obviously affect their overall lifetime earnings, which then sets the cycle in motion again. As home ownership is a crucial foundation for helping those low-income families find a path out of poverty, we have noted countless studies showing that one's home enhances their quality of life in a variety of specific and verifiable ways. Studies have shown that graduation rates increase, children's health increases, the net family wealth increases. Simultaneously, we see decreases in behavioral issues within the children. Of course, a decrease in reliance on government assistance, and also a decrease in asthma. A 2014 study by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston cited that of homes with a student about to enter college, found that a modest increase in home value for homeowners led to an increase in the child's earnings later in life, while an increase in a property's value for renters led to a decrease in the child's earnings. And lastly, I'd like to share with you the study that came out of Minnesota, I believe of the same year in 2014. A survey of Habitat homeowners found that 53% said they have more money since moving into their Habitat home. 2/3 are more confident about their ability to fund their children's college education, and almost 40% said they pay less in housing costs. And of course, once again, this then lends itself to the family not needing that government assistance and an overall decline in a need for government assistance. So Habitat empowers the families to be self-sufficient and to break that cycle of poverty. A partner family, so the family that's been selected for the home, they work with Habitat for Humanity staff, volunteers, board members to help guide them through the process of earning their sweat equity and preparing them for home ownership. Education is one of the most crucial pieces to this process. First and foremost is a financial literacy, which is a required portion of their sweat equity. Through that curriculum, they learn about debt reduction, understanding mortgages and loans, avoiding predatory lenders. They learn about what their escrow account, how that operates. For a first-time homeowner, understanding an escrow account can be kind of daunting, so that's why we really take the time to guide them through this process. Once we have built the home and sold it to the family, then our relationship transitions more so to that of a lender. So when we underwrite a mortgage, it's typically for 20 to 25 years. We never exceed 30 years, and we always provide a 0% interest. So the family is only always paying down the principal of their loan, and then they do contribute to their escrow, which of course is based on property taxes for their home and the homeowner's insurance, which they select. As mentioned previously, Habitat for Humanity, we are an equal credit opportunity lender. We do follow all of the federal regulations and legislation around lending practices. So in 2010, the Dodd-Frank Act that was put in place to protect consumers from abusive financial services practices, that adjusted a little bit how we do our work, since we do work specifically with individuals and families that are lower income. However, we have qualified for many exemptions that do allow us to follow these regulations, but also continue to serve the low income sector of our communities. Additionally, as a lender, we ensure that their monthly mortgage and escrow payment does not exceed 30% of their monthly income. And at times when we are underwriting their mortgage, we might set up a soft second mortgage. This helps us subsidize the cost of the house, and it is also forgivable after 10 years, so long as the family has provided their on-time payments on their first mortgage. So next I want to talk to you about our most recent project. This took place a year ago. We broke ground in June of 2020, and we finished the house in November. And this lovely family got to move into their house just a little bit before Christmas, so they got to celebrate their first Christmas in their new house. So this is in Wabash. It's located on East Maple Street, and this is the Brisbane family. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So I'm going to walk you through our kind of the highlights of our construction process. Of course, we started with the grading work, laying the foundation. So that's in the upper left-hand corner. If you're going to the right, you'll see where we're setting the center beam. In the bottom left corner, we are laying the subfloor. And then in the bottom right, that is where we're erecting the sidewalls. Fun fact about this house is that those sidewalls were actually donated to us from Habitat for Humanity of Greater Fort Wayne. They had a project that ended up taking a different shape, so they had these materials and they did not want to waste them, so they contacted us and donated these sidewall parts to us, which made that part of the process go just a little faster. Next, you can see we're installing the gables and installing the trusses. Miraculously, we were able to do this without any sort of machinery or lifting equipment, just with the ingenuity and just our human power. There were, I believe, 5 of us that day, and we installed both gables and all of the trusses all in one day, just with our own strength. Next, we put on the house wrap, which is obviously an important weatherizing piece. Next was installing the siding. We do allow our homeowners to make various choices in the aesthetic of their houses. So typically we'll choose the material that we're able to budget for. But when there's an option for color or pattern, we always like to include the family in those decisions, since it is their home and we want it to reflect their personal taste. So this was the midnight blue color that this family chose for their siding. Next, you can see framing up the front deck and the roof that goes over that, and finishing the stairs to the second entrance. In that upper left corner, you can see we had an awesome group of volunteers from Poet Refinery. They came on 2 separate Fridays and helped us essentially build and frame up that whole front deck. Next, you can see some of the interior shots, framing up the interior walls. And you'll see 2 of those pictures have both the shower and the tub in there. We obviously had to move those into place before we got all of the walls framed up, just to make sure that they would fit. Next, we were building a path for the sidewalk, and in the other picture you can see we're actually pouring the cement and leveling it. This lot that we built on was a vacant lot that had been donated to us. The lot, while it was kind of a clean slate to work on, and it was nice in that regard, but there was some basic infrastructure that we did have to then put in place. And here I'm happy to show you the inside of the house. Here you can see the kitchen and the living room, which is a big open concept for both of those spaces. You will see that there is a refrigerator, there is an oven and a range, and a dishwasher. These appliances we provide to all of our houses to ensure that they have all of the necessities to live a healthy and safe life in their new home. Here are the bathrooms. There is a bathroom that the children use that is right across the hall from their bedrooms, and then the master bathroom is of course located just off of the master bedroom. In the upper left corner, you're looking down the hallway towards the side door. Also, you can see there is a washer and dryer. So here we have the utility closet and the laundry area. And so we also do provide the washer and dryer as part of the homes. And then here's just a couple of shots of the bedrooms. There are only 2 photos of bedrooms here, but it is indeed a 3-bedroom household. Even after a family is in their new home, Habitat maintains a relationship with their homeowners. We provide advice and assistance whenever possible. Sometimes folks will ask if we do repairs after a build is done. We do have a warranty of the work that we do for a year, but we do also empower the homeowners that, with things that happen, say there's hail damage, etc. We make sure that they know how to go about the process of contacting their homeowner's insurance and reporting a claim. So we do provide assistance in that sense. So here you'll see the 2 most recent projects that we did. In 2019, we did a renovation of a Habitat house that came back into our possession. This was over in Rowan. And then of course, there's a picture of dedication that we did for the 2020 house of the East Maple Street. We foster a support system between homeowner families, and it's resulted in lasting friendships. So there are so many ways to support Habitat for Humanity, whether you're supporting Habitat for Humanity International or a local affiliate like us here in Wabash County. We operate almost exclusively on donations and grants, funding opportunities for nonprofits. We are always excited for donations, whether it's your time, your energy, your labor, or monetary donations. They're always a great asset to us. We're always looking for folks who are interested in volunteering, whether you want to be a part of the action on construction on a build or a renovation, or whether you're interested in helping us plan and sit in on a committee to help us either with long-term planning or with fundraising for an event. We're always eager for volunteers. And of course, the most important thing is to just be an advocate of fair housing and affordable housing in the communities that you live and you work and you have family in. Thank you so much for joining us to learn a little bit more about how Wabash County Habitat for Humanity operates. You can visit us online at wabashhabitat.org.